All right. It has been a minute, but we are back with a crown of cold iron. We left off in a fairly dramatic moment. Our party has been chasing sort of multiple strands across town. There are rumors, and apparently more than rumors, that some fragment of the Summer King seems to have made an appearance in town, perhaps in the person of Roland. Most mysteriously, someone who, for all intents and purposes, seems like they are or were human. You've been chasing after Lexi's missing mentor and previous boss, who has been revealed as some kind of inhuman being who had been modifying memory itself. With Hero Light, she was finally able to break through and see him as he was, not as the older figure that she remembered, but a strangely younger gentleman who seems to have been around for centuries. Finally, Cyrus has been hunting after more information about Nalt Manfer and his political aspirations in ways in which they seem to be connected to the Kingsguard. In the midst of all of this, you also have the looming issue of a seemingly organic portal growing underneath Queensboro, centered in Little Sylvain. But as all of this happened, we left off with Lexi upstairs in her office above Lou's, as she often is late at night. And we left off with her trusted busboy and server, Caleb, seemingly manifesting some kind of fey magic and stabbing her with a silvered rapier, literally in the back. And that's where we
Yeah.
left off.
Normal Tuesday night, Lexi getting murdered. It's fine.
Yeah. So we pick up right in the moment, or perhaps a few seconds after. Caleb has vanished.
Lexi screams, "God damn it, Caleb."
Lexi, you
Or
we're gonna.
chokes it out.
I was gonna say we're gonna come back to where you're at in a moment. So from the outside, we see Lexi slumped over her desk. There is blood, but not nearly as much as there should be for someone being run through with a silver rapier. Instead, there's a slow trickle of blood and what might be flickering sparks of light. The safe in the corner, which previously contained the tome and rod from your very first adventure, sits open. The tome and rod are gone. What other cursed items did you still have in the safe?
I don't even remember.
Was the claw in there?
So you had found a
I don't
Kate
know,
C
Maisie.
claw,
Okay.
or sorry,
Yeah, I
not
think
yeah,
so.
you had not the Kate C, the Cawthorn Allen Tarn Smith,
Yeah.
Buchan's claw.
Buchan's claw. What?
Did you get another one from one of the Hellcats in the warehouse?
I think we only had the one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only one I remember.
So someone started playing copyrighted music very loudly in the background. So you had at least the tome and the rod in there. Under the Raven Palace, you had also secured a vampiric longsword, some kind of cursed metal, like armored plates. I believe that Oric has been carrying the Fey Flame torch, right?
Yes.
Yes.
and Cyrus was carrying the rod. I took the rod, and Cyrus took the rod into Fairy.
Okay, that's right, because you thought about it. Okay,
Yeah,
so the tome is gone.
The
yeah.
tome's gone, the broad's not. Okay.
I think it sounds like you left the sword there then, because this was your cursed item repository.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I wasn't really sure where we were on. Like we had discussed having the Blackthorns uncurse things,
Yeah. I'm
but
not
we
sure if
hadn't
that's
I
like
don't
gone
think
through
role
we've
it.
played
done
it,
it.
so it wasn't clear to me if that was a role play thing that we had to go through, or if that was something that had gotten started.
Yes, because there would be a cost associated with it.
Okay.
So here's what I'll say: we'll pick one of the other cursed items. There was the longsword and the plates. Then there was the torch and the dagger. Was there anything else you all got out of the Raven Palace?
Uh, I think anything else we had on us.
Okay. So then I'll let you all decide. Which did you have in there, the plates or the longsword?
Honestly, I feel like we probably would have tried to get the longsword uncursed first, but that's just my gut.
So we'll say the longsword is somewhere else. So the plates and the tome are gone. All
Okay.
that's left in the bottom is the uh like important documents.
Hmm. Miso's plates.
Is like important documents, account books, things like that.
Okay,
So,
remind Rachel real quick.
uh
When
huh.
you say plates, are we talking about like dinner plates? Or are we talking about some sort of armor?
No, like armored
Armor.
plates.
Thank you. Because my brain was going to dinner plates. I was
They're
like,
they're basically like a shirt of armored plates, but you also could have attached them to other armor to enhance it.
Mhm.
So the plates and the tome are gone. Lexi, what time does the bar like? When would Lexi be up in her office? Like what hour of the night would see her up there?
um, it depends on how busy things are. She would go up there before closing to do some, to kind of start shutting down and do as much accounting as she can before closing happens. Just to make it easier when closing does actually happen. Make it quicker. But I would probably say it's like midnight, you know. It's one of those kind of things. Was it a weeknight? I don't remember because that also makes a difference.
I don't know that we said
We didn't
specifically.
specify that.
My thought is that it is solidly past closing.
Okay. So
It's like 2 or 3 in the
it's
morning.
like 2 or 3 in the morning. It's dark 100.
So we sort of pull back a little bit. All the other lights in Luz are out. It's fairly dark outside, and we're just sort of seeing like the window of the office, and you can see the light inside sort of flickering, and it's just sort of barely visible from outside. And we sort of go into like fast forward. We watch the city sort of come to life, and there is more and more light. There is more and more light coming out of that window. It gets harder to see as the sun starts to come up, and finally we see a car pull into the parking lot. It parks sort of off to the side in one of the few unofficial employee spaces. and we see your cook, who I believe is named Craig.
Yes.
We see Craig walking in. He's sort of nonchalant. He comes in, opens the door. He looks around, and Craig's been with you for a while, and so he looks around and he just catches a few things that only a longtime employee would notice. It's visible that, like, the last little bit of shutting down wasn't finished. There's maybe still, like, I'll tell you what it is. There's probably an empty basket of fries sitting on the bar, where Lexi left one of her empties and took a fresh one upstairs, fully planning to throw both of them away when she came back down.
Yeah.
And so we see Craig kind of become concerned. He realizes that you see him go behind the bar and look into the kitchen. The trash was never taken out. And he realizes, he turns and looks, and sort of through the doorway, there's a light sort of pouring down the spiral stairs that go up to Lexi's office. And he steps into the room, and at this point, the blood's still only sort of dribbling. It has slowly formed a small pool on the floor. The light has become blinding. There is white light pouring out of Lexi, but where it pours across the rapier, it's almost like light pumping into a fractured prism. It spirals and distorts and breaks the light apart into this opalescent rainbow that is painting the whole room. Craig looks at this for a minute. His eyes get really, really big. You see him muster his bravery, and he goes and tries to sort of gently put a hand on Lexi. And the light, it's like touching a hot stove. It like sears his hand just slightly before he can even make contact. And he sort of nods to himself, backs out of the room, and pulls out his phone. We jump forward just a little bit, and Auric and Cyrus, both of you are whoops. There we go. Both of you suddenly receive a frantic phone call. It would be one of you would answer, and then very quickly they would say, "Hold on," and call the other, and you are now on a group call, and it is Archie. You all have only seen Archie, sort of occasionally. He's still around. And Archie is freaking out. Mr. Darlanton, Mr. Dunhallow, I wasn't sure who else to call. Craig called me to come down to lose. Something has gone very very wrong. That is, yes, very wrong. If both of you could make your way here quite quickly. And we see from the other end, Archie has looked into the room, used detect magic, and been practically blinded, and gone downstairs and called you all. So I assume you all probably make haste.
Yes.
As you should.
Yep.
So Craig has sort of applied first aid to his seared hand and is sitting downstairs. Archie, flustered is a strange look on Archie. He's usually a very just sort of like big, gregarious, overflowing personality. And he is genuinely spooked. Some kind of magical phenomenon seems to be occurring upstairs. Miss Freno also appears to have been stabbed.
All right, going upstairs.
And you find the scene we have described. Light is pouring off, bent into this sort of opalescent prism. What do you all do?
Um, I don't know any healing spells.
I'm very curious as to if anybody knows if I'm dead or alive. I mean, I feel like I'm probably alive, but at the same time, it's like, did he actually check for a pulse?
Well, he wasn't able to touch you.
That's true, he wasn't.
Distressingly, probably the clearest sign of life is that you are still bleeding.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go over and check on Lexi.
Make sure you have some gloves.
How would you like to do that?
Well, let's see. I'm probably not thinking clearly because of Archie and in the room.
You're probably gonna do something dumb.
I'm probably gonna do something dumb, so I'm going to. What's my wisdom score? Yeah. I'm going to poke at the wound.
Jesus.
Uh,
Just make it worse, why don't you?
Gently.
yeah, I gotta say,
Gently.
this is gonna be. I will let you choose. This is either a dexterity saving throw or a constitution saving throw.
I will go with Constitution.
All right.
Doesn't matter.
Uh, oof. You take 10 points of radiant damage.
Okay.
Ow, 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 ow.
What I will say is I'll let you make a flat medicine check. Since you did get that close, you you put your scales on the line for it. So,
Woo! 16.
all right,
With
with
my
a 16,
plus 0.
Lexi is alive.
Oh, good.
All right.
This wound is definitely unnatural.
I was gonna say there's still a fucking dagger in my back in there.
Yeah, like fully like a I don't know how long's a rapier, 3 feet long.
Yes.
Like all the way through you, there is a point coming out the other side.
Oh.
Oh, all right.
He put it in and
left
twisted.
If Caleb gets a raise.
All right. So good news, she's still alive. Bad news, ow.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem to be as bad as it should, for sure. Like just eyeballing it, y'all have been beat up and blown up and stabbed and shot and all kinds of stuff. Like this kind of wound for this amount of time, she should be dead for sure. With a 16 also, like it's you know how tough Lexi is.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to imagine someone doing this like in one smooth blow like this. The bleeding's consistent. I think that's all you get off a medicine check. Is alive, bleeding consistent, not as bad as it should be.
Okay. I look around the room. Is there any like water or anything?
Uh, would Lexi have what would she have up in the office?
I mean, she'd probably have some bottles of water. There's probably a an empty glass. Well, not empty glass, but it's now melted. But it had ice in it earlier, when she brought it upstairs.
So just like quick mechanic, like because I can't remember, like did Lexi take damage? Like does she need healing? Or this is more a narrative?
So just eyeballing it, you can tell there's a little bit of damage here, but not what it should be. It doesn't
Okay.
look like she took traumatic damage, mechanically speaking.
I have not docked my hit points.
Okay.
Mechanically, Auric has taken more
I'm
damage than
taking the most
Lexi at this
damage.
point.
Okay. Cool. So I think Cyrus will text Alex to bring. I've forgotten
Sauna?
Sana. Thank you. Just in case, but and then I'm gonna mage hand and mage hand go for the handle of the rapier.
The mage hand fully disperses into like motes of the most beautiful, sparkling light you've ever seen. But it is dispersed nonetheless.
So it didn't do jack squat.
It seems like it the radiance pouring off of this is happening on lots of levels, some of which include like some pretty strong magic.
Mm-hmm.
Since Lexi does not appear to be as damaged as she should be, and knowing how tough Lexi is, I grab the glass of water and dump it on her head and say, "Hey, wake up."
The water also, it's almost like it gets caught in. You've seen a few movies and TV shows now. It's like liquids and anti gravity. It's like it hits and it just sort of separates into globules, and then over the course of about 10 seconds, the light pours through the little droplets of water, and again, just cascading beautiful light. It's like third hand at this point, but you feel a little heat as it like bounces light across your cheek, and the water also just sort of.
All right, well, that's not normal.
No way.
And let's cut away somewhere else for a moment. A space that is full of brilliant, blinding light. The majority of this light is pure white light. It's just it's almost a kind of white light that doesn't exist in nature. And we find Lexi just standing in this featureless, brilliantly bright space. I say featureless. There is one feature. In the distance, about 100 yards off, there is a pillar of silver. And it's probably, when I say a pillar, it's probably a 15, it's probably a 10 or 15 foot radius extending up into unseen mists above. And not that you would know this, but from the inside, where the light of this space hits this pillar of silver, there are those same like fractured rainbows of opalescent light just kind of bleeding everywhere into this room. I say room, this space. What would you like to do?
Um, gosh. I mean, I'm kind of just looking around. I guess investigation is kind of where I want to start, you know?
Yeah, give me an investigation roll.
All right, I'm gonna stop that. Why didn't you stay on top? Okay. Oh, damn. 17. It was almost a 20. So,
With a 17, there's the details of the space seem clear. It just seems to fade out to infinite whiteness at the edges. You can't tell if this room or if this space even has constraints of any kind. It seems to be perfectly flat. Up above, it just sort of whites out at a point. And you don't get the impression there's a ceiling. It's almost like the light becomes so dense you just can't see any further. And the pillar disappears up into that space. Looking more closely at the pillar, you can see that there are actually sylvan runes. At first, they're so large your brain can't place what they're supposed to be. But once you step back far enough, you start to realize there are sylvan words, and it's sort of an archaic and stilted kind of sylvan, very formal, and it stretches way up, almost disappearing. You can tell there are words even further up you can't read. But what you can read, it's hard to put it into common, but the closest you come up with, kind of, trying to do that, like, all right, what, I did Duolingo, there was a lesson on this, conjugate the endings like this.
yeah.
Something about light light bender, light breaker. And as you're examining this space, you hear footsteps. There is someone apparently walking up behind you.
So I'm turn around.
Stab him.
Can I help you?
So, for just a moment, you get the impression, and it's fleeting. You're not even sure what exactly puts you in mind of it. But for just a second, it looks like Lou.
That's what I was gonna guess.
It looks like the version of Lou that you are able to see now. But
Meaning the Lou from the past, not the Lou I remember.
right.
Okay.
The new Lou.
The new Lou. Or the OG Lou in some ways. I mean, like, really.
But as you look, you don't know why you thought that. Something's different. It doesn't seem to be exactly the same person. It's a young man with a deep tan, with red blonde, gently curling hair that sort of goes back and is tied in a ponytail. And he's wearing that sort of casual, almost sort of like casual, how do I put it? It's a strangely timeless appearance. A sort of loose white shirt that sort of cuts deep. He looks like someone you might have seen like working on a farm outside of town, or someone that you might have seen in a drawing of someone working at a farm outside of town 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say some pastoral scene.
He walks up and again, just very casual. He's got kind of his hands up behind his head, and he doesn't even look at you first. He kind of looks at this pillar and says, "Well," and then he says a word you don't understand, but it's clearly an expletive, and it sounds like the language that you have sometimes heard Auric and Sana speak. This sort of ancient common.
Mhm.
Well, that is sure a mess.
So what does it say exactly? Because my translation of it is kind of iffy.
Let me see. Light. And you watch him make almost the same face. Light. Bending? Bender? Bended? Bent light?
Did I become the avatar?
He says, huh. Well, this is just not good.
How so? Am I
Well,
dead?
you're not dead, but you are
Yes.
stabbed, which the two states share a certain causality.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Well, it looks like you really pissed somebody off.
Oh, lovely.
When he
Ooh.
turns, his eyes, uh, they are like thundercloud gray. A color that is almost, it could maybe be natural, but it is a very unusual color for sure. And he says, yeah, this really screws everything up, doesn't it?
Probably. So what do I do now?
Well, there's not a ton you can do in here.
Yeah, no kidding.
Would, I don't know, let's try for a change of scenery. And he sort of waves his hand, and as his hand moves through the air, it's like particles of this white light break apart. And you recognize it very clearly now. This space is flooded with hero light in a density you have never even imagined. And when he waves his hand through the air, it's the closest thing you can think of is it almost looks like he's casting magic with hero light. And when he sort of
Whoa.
finishes the gesture, space sort of bends and warps, and you're now at the top of a hill, looking down over a sort of wave tossed shoreline. And now the pillar of silver is like out in the middle of the water. partially sort of hidden by the waves. And he's like, I guess that's a little bit better.
Well, there's certainly more to do here.
Yeah, I've always liked this.
Can you teach me how to do that? The teleportation thing.
It's not really. It's not really teleportation. Let me think how to explain this. We didn't go anywhere. We just. What's that phrase? It's a trick of the light.
Okay. So more like we changed the scenery.
That's closer.
Okay.
I could I could show you. We've got a minute.
Sure.
And he does it again. Give me an Arcana check.
15.
You kind of get the feeling that you could maybe do this. Like when you try it, it doesn't shift nearly as much space. Like it seems like he changed everything you could see. And when you try it, what do you try to change?
So we're on like a cliffside.
Yeah.
I think I'd probably like try and change like the color of the ground below us. Something simple. Maybe turn it into a meadow or something.
You change like a 5 foot square space under your feet.
Okay.
And it kind of flickers a little bit. Like it's not 100% settled. And he says, that's not bad. Took me a couple 100 years to get it up to this, so it's pretty good for a first try.
Needs practice. Okay.
You'll get there. The spear would help.
The spear?
Yeah, the
You mean the
spear.
one that's in me?
No, that's it's hard to tell from the inside, but I think that's a rapier.
Okay.
No, the spear. You've got the spear, right?
Remind Rachel, do we have the spear? The spear?
You don't have a recognizable spear.
Okay. Because I'm just sitting there going, okay, am I missing something or is Lexi missing something?
This is the danger of playing like over such a long span of time.
Like, I don't know what I have. What spear is this?
Oh, he didn't leave you the spear?
He who?
Has he not going to smack him upside the head so hard?
Yeah, I'd like to do that with a couple people myself. Caleb.
He left you then he left you one of the hounds, right?
The Hounds?
I'm going to kill him. This time I'm actually going to kill him.
I get a dog? Not that it does me any good right now, honestly.
He kind of focuses for a second and he says, "No, this is I feel like they're there. They've got to be somewhere close to you." He says,
You mean at the bar?
"Is that where you is that where this
That's
happened?"
yes. I was upstairs in my office finishing paperwork, and my employee comes in and stabs me. He did apologize, though. So I think something's wrong with him. He's been weird recently.
Yeah, I would imagine this is your employee is human.
As far as I know,
Yeah,
question.
something's definitely wrong with him if he has one of these.
Yay.
Um,
Glad we got that settled.
so we're gonna cut back outside now for a second. So Oric and Cyrus, what are you all doing?
Panicking.
Getting increasingly frustrated as everything I try to touch Lexi with is just not working. I cannot draw on her face because the markers won't get close.
The markers melt.
I think depending on how much time has passed, I may have given up and texted Vela.
I like that there's just like an increasing crowd of people like standing around watching Lexi bleed out.
I mean, if you can't put anything on the wound to stop the bleeding, what are you gonna do?
Have we tried? I can't remember if we've ever tried using our triscale mark on somebody else.
I
So
don't think
think we
so.
have.
so that's attempt number one from Cyrus, and I've got a number two, but Cyrus is gonna see if he can try to tap into that and be like, or try to like blend, like connect the marks somehow.
Give me an Arcana check.
Nice.
23.
Very nice. So you hold out this mark, and when it's not, you've noticed that like when you're not thinking about it or using it, it does tend to fade a little, becomes less obvious. But as you concentrate on it, it flares and darkens. This sort of triskelion mark, uh, and yours has the raven feather in it, right? Each of you got a different one.
Yeah,
Crown, feather, and sword, I think.
Yeah,
think so.
I didn't remember that detail, but sure.
I've got it written down somewhere.
As you hold it out, uh, you sort of intuit that there's definitely a connection that runs between these. And you have a stronger grasp of the mechanics of the arcane than really than like 99% of humans, and certainly more than a lot of folks in general. And you're able to run sort of a current of power into the mark in a way that you've never done before. And it actually reminds you, just the other day, you were sort of pinging, along with Auric, sort of tormenting the Kingsguard wannabes outside of Little Sylvain. There's some similarity there. This strange connection that runs across. Although this one is definitely different. And you manage to open something, and Auric, what you see is suddenly like light starts to stream out of Cyrus's eyes and mouth.
Oh God, it's contagious.
And Cyrus, you suddenly feel stronger than you have ever felt. You feel like someone could punch you in the face and you wouldn't budge. You feel like you could run screaming at the vanguard of an army, bare chested, carrying an axe, and cut through a swath of enemies. It is, I would think, a very foreign feeling. uh,
Lexi
some
feels like this all the time.
yeah, I'll say
To the shadow operative.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very different than your nature, and you feel something of your sort of Tuathan magic is sort of responding to it, but it's a lot. It is a lot, and you're able to kind of like dial it down a little bit. But just for a second, you see Lexi in this figure, sitting on this hill. You see the rapier, and you can feel it. This rapier, it's not even so much a physical item. It is a manifested artifact of a spell. And you can feel it. It seems like it is made to twist Hero Light. And you feel it sort of taking Lexi's own connection and bending it and warping it.
Can I? Feeling all like rah, I can take on the world. Uh, Cyrus is gonna see if that like protects him from the light streaming off of Lexi, so be able to get closer.
I think since you're in sort of a calculated mode, you don't just try and like jam your hand in, or I guess you can. Do you want to do that? How
think,
roided does Cyrus feel in this moment?
yeah, not like a full, but I think he's kind of doing that like lean in, hand.
So you can see as your hand gets close, this light that's pouring off, as it gets close, that light too starts to bend and warp, and you feel your hand heating up.
Okay.
Auric, you feel something wet on your feet.
Wet.
Wet.
Ew, gross.
I look down, terrified.
As you should.
I don't remember if you named it. It is the
Oh, it's my mead.
yeah. It's the little mead elemental.
Oh, I feel like I named it, but I don't remember what I named it.
It's sort of like snaked up your leg for a second and then settled between your feet. And it very much has it has a sort of wary guardedness to it. Wary, Wary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got that from the beer stall, right?
You actually rescued this from Tyler's office under Banner and Norton's.
Okay. So it's like beer stall's all in my older books, so
Yeah, the beer saw. You have the beer saw packed brew
right.
bottle, but this was retrieved from Tyler's office.
Uh,
Yeah.
are
Let
you,
me well,
are you trying to tell me something, Lassie?
Um, it does something you have not seen before. Uh, it actually starts to become more detailed. It has always been sort of a sort of smooth blob. And it takes a roughly corgi-esque shape. It's not quite that detailed, but it's clearly a squat canine body, still sort of gelatinous, uh, almost like a good child's drawing of a corgi. Still kind of rounded and sort of undetailed.
I'm really sad to say I don't think we named it.
And it lets out a wet, like, blah, blah, blah.
Did Timmy fall down the well?
Um,
Would Arik actually know that reference?
I mean,
Actually, yes, because probably watches a lot of classic TV in his spare time.
yeah, we've definitely established that Auric has consumed an esoteric but substantial amount of pop culture.
Auric thinks that it's not a dated reference. That's what
Yeah.
it is. Auric thinks it's culturally relevant.
um,
Culturally relevant when you were growing up.
I'll say I could also see Auric having a lot of like third-hand references. Like it's a reference to a reference in like from a newer show, referencing an old show, referencing the original, not necessarily knowing what it means.
Yes.
It sort of gets up with like a gelatinous bloop, and boop, 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 boop. It pads over and it sort of noses something.
Okay.
In the corner, kind of. Would Lexi have like a coat rack or umbrella rack or something like that?
Oh yeah.
Um,
She'd have probably a coat rack, something.
there is a length of wood. It's maybe 2.5, 3 feet long, and it is snapped at the end.
Now is not the time to play fetch.
It lets
But
out a sort of wet, like, almost like it's trying to growl. And it like tries to get its wet, toothless mouth around this stick and like pull it.
I will pull the stick out. Go fetch the other half.
It gives you a
Broken. See, it's broken on the end.
when you poke at the end, there is a slight zap of electricity.
Bad dog?
Lexi, inside, there is a storm rolling in. And it's the first thing that's changed in this space after this person did this thing. And he says, "Oh, finally." I don't know why he doesn't just explain things. Always. Anyway. It looks like you're going to be out of here in a second. I know there's a lot going on. But you need to be careful. Something is. And he gets about halfway into the word watching. And lightning strikes. This storm has sort of centered around this silver pillar out at sea. And there is a deafening, bone shattering peal of thunder. And everything whites out. We jump back. This mead corgi, slime corgi, slorgy. I don't know. We'll workshop it.
Morky.
It is like backed up, and now there is a. It's almost like it's gotten some better vocal cords put together. There is a true growl with only the faintest hint of like being underwater. Um, it is backed up and it is looking straight at Lexi and this rapier. And from out here, you all see the rapier and the light coming off of it dims suddenly and dissolving slightly into thunderclouds. Um, and you can see that the light has gone dim and the rapier is no longer glowing.
Huh. That's a good thing, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's a good thing.
Cyrus is just gonna grab it.
It comes
Don't
out.
just pull it out.
Yeah, it comes out smoothly.
I'm just gonna bleed out.
As you pull it out, there is a weightless quality to it. Both the rapier itself, but also there's like no resistance as you pull it out. As it comes out of the last couple of inches of Lexi's back, you see there is a hole like in her shirt, and there is a. You would almost think that it was just like a small cut, with this sort of trail of blood coming down from it, and the rapier in your hand starts to shake. What do you want to do?
I dive for cover.
I'm gonna try to like smash it, like as though like swing it at the floor as though I could like break the blade, kind of thing.
Ooh. Give me. We'll call this just a pure dexterity check. And I guess I should oppose this with something.
21.
21. All right. Whoops, where's a roller? There's a roller.
When you pet on retreats.
Yeah, but there's still
It only gets a 20. So, as you swing it down, suddenly the weight of it is all wrong. It's gone from weighing almost nothing. Suddenly you feel like you're swinging something with the weight of a person, even heavier than a person. And you manage to like hit, and like the last like couple inches of it break off. And almost impossibly, a hand extends out from the hilt and grabs your wrist. And another hand comes out and pushes out off the ground. And it's almost like, you know those like reversible children's toys? It's almost like the rapier is reversing, and inside is a fearsome and sort of warped looking silvery humanoid fae.
it's like the Poppins or whatever they were called. I had one of those as a kid. And yeah, it was this little stuffed animal that you could pop it into a hole to its little pouch and back out.
They look like they're the same material as the rapier, and where the light hits them, there is a bright opalescent reflection. They don't look like a sort of person like you pass in the streets of Midweir. It almost looks to like an elf in the street. This would be like a dire elf. It looks bigger and sort of more. There's almost like chitinous armor and horns and plates, almost to the point of feeling unnecessary. And it pulls itself up and it lets out this horrible metallic scream. And I'm going to need everybody to roll for initiative.
How?
Lexi does get to roll for initiative.
Okay. You rolled like as high as you can on that, didn't you?
I got a 20. You can't crit on initiative, but I did.
All right, I got a 19.
I got 10. Cyrus was not expecting that.
Duck and cover paid off.
All right. 19 for Lexi.
Somehow, despite being in a different location.
10 for Cyrus. 22 for Auric. All right. Got to do some rearranging to get roll 20. Oh, come on. There we go.
Oh no. I took damage from Lexi earlier.
Yep.
Oh no, you're not fully healed, are you?
I'm going into this fight hurt.
How'd you not heal?
I was busy trying to draw on your face.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, it's trying to save your life.
I mean, I was thinking of like before the night before, and I was like, how'd you not heal? You took a rest. But no, you have not.
Yep.
Been a lot happening. It's very overwhelming.
So the very first thing that happens as it sort of flips itself inside out is that it, for a moment, it sort of becomes liquid. And you are not holding, you are not being held by a person, but instead a flood of metallic liquid bursts across the room and flows down to the stairs below. Auric, you're up first.
All right, first things first, do I recognize this thing?
Give me an Arcana check
Fair.
or history.
Same either way, so 18.
So you kind of put together what this could be. And it's equal parts of sort of like fairy folklore and your research in the Blackthorn archives. Just as the just as much as the Blackthorns were trying to master sort of cold iron and the possibilities it had, it seemed like the Fae were looking for ways to thwart Hero Light. It was a bane to them in a lot of ways. And you read sort of vague accounts of things that were sometimes immune to Hero Light, things that could feed on Hero Light. But they never managed to, like, catch one. So what do you want to do?
I think I'm going to start off by activating my spirit guardians.
All right.
So, all my friends are excluded, but this guy ain't.
All right. That is your action. Anything else?
Let's see. How close is he to me? 25 feet. I'm gonna just come walk over here, which means he should now be in the range of the hero of the spirit guardians.
And that's a 15-foot radius.
Yes. Let me go ahead and put that onto my character.
Oh, yep, that's what I was doing.
So in fact, I will move myself a little bit further down just to make it abundantly clear that he is inside the radius.
All right.
So he needs a wisdom saving throw.
Uh, does he not make it until the start of his turn?
Oh, right. Yeah. Let's see. An effective when the creature enters the area for the first time or starts its turn there.
Yeah. I think they do that so you can't like use it like a lawnmower and just run across the battlefield. I played a cleric. I tried that. It didn't fly.
Fair enough. So on his turn, he'll need to make a wisdom save.
All right. So then, as a legendary action, he reaches and grabs like his forearm with his other hand and pulls and comes away with like a liquid quantity of his own mass. And as he pulls it, it becomes like a long shard of silvery metal. And he is going to fling that at Auric.
I disapprove.
It's only an 18 to hit.
I will burn a legendary resistance. No, ow.
I was like, wait, I'm giving y'all a lot of crazy stuff. I bought it for a second. I was like, wait, what? All right. Yeah, this is going to be an ouchie. Oof. This is 27 radiant damage.
Ow. That really hurts. Stop it.
It grins at you, and all of its teeth are glimmering metal. Even the depths of its mouth seem to be metal. Lexi, you're up.
Okay.
You,
So where is Lexi?
Lexi is slumped over over her desk.
Yeah.
You, we'll say you've taken 3 points of damage.
Okay. Okay.
And I will let you come down the stairs for free. I just didn't have an office map,
Okay.
and I thought a bar brawl was more fun.
Okay. So coming through the door because I'm apparently able to walk again.
Yeah, you feel fine.
Okay. And so I look at this guy who I guess I realized he was the rapier that was in me,
You
maybe.
you definitely recognize both the material and the way the light is reflecting off of it.
Okay.
Also, real nasty bad guy energy.
Well,
Like we
yes.
said, dire elf kind of build.
Yeah. All right. So Lexi's gonna pull out her brewer's mallet and take one look at him and say, "What the did you do to Caleb?"
Uh,
I
it
need to
just
move closer.
grins wider.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it can speak, or at
Yeah.
least it chooses not to.
Okay. Oh, I'm also going to rage first. Give me a hot second to turn that on. And where inventory, there it is. Add effects. Tether. There we go. Now we rage. Oh, damn. That's an 11.
11 is not going to hit. You
Yeah.
also notice it doesn't seem to have any immediate effect, but when you're this close to it, when the hero light bounces off of it,
Mm-hmm.
there still seems to be a weird reaction there.
Hmm.
In fact, it seems to be warping all the light around it.
Okay. I want to try and warp the light like I did in my purgatory state.
Uh,
Don't even know if that's possible, but
so
that's
I was
like
going to tell you
my
this
gut reaction.
afterwards.
Okay.
The amount of effort that you've put into it thus far, you can cast the minor illusion cantrip when you are in bright light.
Okay.
It does not help you much right here.
Okay.
But all of the old uses work just fine. Oh, I also forgot. All of y'all have inspiration. We have one inspiration this
Oh,
session.
that's right. I do have inspiration. Damn. Okay. Well, I'm gonna whack it again.
All right.
I get 2 turns? Yeah.
2 attacks. Yep.
2 attacks per turn. All right, that's a 13.
You are still feeling slowed.
Okay.
Even though the physical damage isn't that bad, you can feel that it's almost like the hero light inside you is flowing the wrong way. It's
Okay.
it's kind of like a hose that's been kinked. But you can feel as you put more pressure on it that it's like straightening itself out.
And can I use inspiration on to up that roll? Is that how I
Yeah,
got it since a
it's like
wand?
advantage on demand.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you can burn it to get advantage.
Okay. So what is that? That's a D8.
No, no, just roll it again.
Oh, just roll
Yeah.
again. Gosh, my brain is just
Different kind of inspiration.
I rolled. Okay, I rolled a 9, so that's 16.
16 is not gonna hit.
Fucking kidding me. Oh my gosh.
Again, there's just something about this thing that you can feel that this thing was made to mess with you.
Yeah, noticed.
All right, it is the creature's turn. It's going to make a wisdom saving throw.
Yes, it is.
16.
That fails.
All right. What kind of damage is this?
I believe we said it was necrotic.
All right. How much is it going to take?
10.
You can see the sort of tendrils of mist sweep across it, and some of the silver tarnishes. It is going to. It like flickers, and it is going to teleport to the center of the room. And Cyrus, can you see it from there? Okay. Then Lexi and Auric, give me a perception check.
Great. Oh, 20.
Oh, nat 20.
Hey, me too.
All
Oh,
right.
yeah, I have +3, so 23.
You definitely can see it. And Lexi, I think you're also, because you're thinking specifically in these terms, you watch as it almost seems to ride the light. It moves from one patch of bright light to another. You saw it step back under one of the brighter lights up above and teleport to the center of the room where it is under one of the main lights. I'm going to actually put it where it's supposed to be. And from there, it is going to it's going to try and throw some more of those. It's going to do the smaller one first. Uh, 18 to hit against Lexi.
Yeah, that'll hit.
All right. That is 9 points of piercing damage, reduced to 4, and give me a Constitution saving throw.
26.
Nice. It's also going to fling one of these sort of shards at you. 17 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit. Oh, I also hit it with my hero light because if I can, because reaction,
Um,
unless it's too far away. I don't know.
well, I'll just go ahead and say you get the feeling that this thing seems to thrive on hero light.
Okay. So
Uh,
maybe don't let yourself react.
so it throws one of these sort of brilliant fragments at you. It's 23 points of radiant, reduced to 11.
Okay.
And uh, Lexi, roll a luck check for me. You want 11 or higher.
Okay. Is that just a 20?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like looking for luck. I was like, I don't see it.
It would be interesting to have that as an actual skill.
I got a 17.
All right, on a 17, I'll let you choose. It has one more attack. It has another one of these shining blades. Would you rather it throw it at you or at Auric?
Honestly, since Oric doesn't have hero light, I feel like he would have a better chance of like it not thriving.
I'm hurt
How much are you hurt?
a lot.
I'll say this: you did seem like you were still resistant to this damage.
Okay, I did.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll take it.
Oops. It gets a. It's attacking with disadvantage. 17 to hit.
Ah, that hits.
Man, I've gotten used to the monk game where everyone has crazy AC.
Yeah.
It's 29 reduced to 14.
Good
Yeah, that would have killed me.
God.
That would have killed me.
All right, Cyrus, it is your turn.
As it is, I'm pretty hurt.
All right. Let's see. I'm going to assume that our cold iron stuff was on loan from the Black Thorns, and so we probably returned all of that.
I would say that if you like, you could we can settle up later, but they would definitely sell it to you.
Well, okay. I wasn't sure if I needed to pick between Ill Omen or the Cold Iron, or if I had both with me. All right. Well, either way, we are going to hex it, and then we're gonna shoot it.
All right.
$28 to hit.
Nice. Almost a crit.
Almost a crit. So 9 piercing and
And is this with cold iron?
no, I did this with the
Okay.
Omen. So 9 piercing and 5 necrotic.
Your magical arrow tears another shard out of it. It's still looking pretty healthy, though. Anything else?
Well, that's move, bonus action, action.
All right. Auric, you're up.
Okay. Well, since I've decided I don't want to get close to this thing, I'm going to use my action to dismiss my spirit guardians and heal.
All right.
And then, how far away are you? 50. All right. As a bonus action, I don't want to burn Lose down.
Thank you.
As a bonus action, I am going to cast Magic Missile as a 4th level spell.
Nice.
So that'll be 6 missiles total.
Yeah, I think so.
Doesn't it add 1?
Level 1's 3.
3. Oh yeah, so 3 upcast, 3 extra. Yeah, yeah.
2, 4, 8. All 13, 16, 19 points of force damage.
Whew. Magic Missile's not the most damage you can do, but there's something very satisfying about just
Stop
being
that.
like, oh, 2 more?
No, that was me hitting the cast button, not realizing it was going to roll the die as well.
There's something satisfying about like unavoidable damage, just
Yeah.
piles of dice. Like, all right, that's action, bonus action. Do you want to move?
Yes.
Take cover. All right. At the end of Auric's turn, it's going to use a legendary action to make an extra attack. And it is going to attack with disadvantage against Cyrus. It rolled a 19 and a 2, so that's only an 11. All right, Lexi, you're up.
All right. It has relocated, and I am nowhere near it. All right, let's see. What is my move speed again? 40 feet. Okay. I can get close enough to melee it, can't I? I'm not positive.
You do have crazy barbarian speed. Let's see what you're
Yeah.
up to. You have 40 feet.
Okay.
It is 50 feet away.
Okay. Maybe I'll try one of my ranged attacks then. Let's see here. I have. Right. Okay. Sitting here looking because it's been so long. Yeah, so I'm gonna throw a javelin.
All right. And I'm going to modify this, and I'll tell you why here in a second.
Okay.
So you won't roll this with disadvantage. So just go ahead and roll it as is.
Okay.
And you're going to add a +2 on top
Okay.
of your other bonuses.
Okay. All right. I rolled a 20, not natural.
That will hit.
Okay.
So as you reach back to grab one of these javelins from the hammer space where you pull it,
Mm-hmm.
instead, Auric, you hear this very loudly. There is an excited blah, 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 from up in the office, and then there is just a comically loud clanging as the length of wood sort of erratically bangs its way down the metal spiral stairs. And this broken haft of wood like snaps into Lexi's hand with a slight crackle of electricity. So you are going to add 1d6 lightning damage when you throw this.
Okay. So I rolled 9 already. So then roll another d6.
Yep.
And what?
Could have been more
10
exciting.
point.
So you can definitely tell it's not. It's clear somehow when you hold it that this thing is broken. But when
Yeah.
you throw it, you feel for a second that thunder. You feel that sort of rolling storm cloud. And when you throw it, it's almost like your hero light hits a different key. That same white light pours across this stick, and the stick seems to shift it into a different key. And it crackles with electricity, stabs into this thing, and immediately whips back to your hand.
Okay.
You've got another attack.
All right. I'm gonna throw this sucker again. I rolled a nat 1.
Oh. Dice
And there
are.
goes a chair.
Yeah. The chair next to him just.
Splinters.
Wood chips just go everywhere. All right. In that case, it is the creature's turn. It is going to. What is it going to do? It's just going to keep attacking Lexi.
God damn it.
Rolls
Haven't
with
you hurt me enough?
disadvantage, gets a 13. Rolls again with
Nope.
disadvantage. Throws a nat 20 in the garbage, but still gets a 22.
Oh, that does hit.
Whew. 25 yeah, 25 radiant reduced to 12.
Yeah.
And it has one more. Got a nat 1.
All right.
And there goes a pitcher.
Yeah.
What is it going to do? Uh, Let me look at our lights. You see it again do that sort of flicker. And it is just going to get right up in y'all's business.
Ah,
God damn it.
Cyrus, it's your turn.
All right. Is it technically still at range for me in that spot?
Uh, are you asking if it's within like melee range?
Like if it's is it melee range or is it ranged weapon?
I think that you're fine from there because I feel
Okay.
like the rules are not what I always thought they were. We're gonna say that you're fine, and I'll figure it out.
Okay.
Oh,
This is
wait,
one
there
of
it
those
is.
I can.
Yeah, it's so being within melee range is from older editions. It's just within 5 feet.
Okay. This is one of those moments where I can never decide as the rogue if it's better to steady aim for advantage on one ranged attack or two weapon fighting for two melee attacks.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I think I'll just stay arranged and steady aim. $25 to hit.
Nice.
25 will
Very
hit.
nice.
All right. Now this time we get to roll all of the dice. So 19 physical and 6 necrotic.
Whew. This one blow tears a giant hole out of it. And for a second, multicolored light just sort of spills out of its torn midsection. It's looking more and more ragged, but also with a sort of disturbing feral quality. You see its posture becoming a little bit more hunched. The patches of tarnish where you all have damaged it are spreading and causing the light to refract in stranger and more disturbing ways. We see for just a second, Craig and Archie like put their heads out the kitchen door and then quickly duck back as one of the shards of light flings at them. And we're going to leave y'all here locked in this pitched battle, and we will pick up here next week. So I'm going to stop our recording.
Recording stopped.
And stop the stream. Bye, Internet.
Bye.